I love that intro. Hello everyone. Let me check and make sure I can hear myself right fast. Okay, I can hear myself. So, first of all, y'all know how it goes. I'd like to thank all of my subscribers and those who watch my videos. This is the B Code Alpha Female Talk. So, now that we've got the pleasantries out the way, I was in these YouTube streets. I stay in them. I was in them this morning. I've been kind of pretty much sitting back, listening to a lot of things that are going on YouTube. You know, I don't do celebrity gossip. Um, I don't follow the trends of what YouTube is doing. I notice that everybody pretty much puts on the same content. It's just different people in a different fashion, but they're all discussing the same thing. Um, and I guess this is the algorithm of YouTube. You know, you do what everybody else is doing, and you'll pretty much get views because this is what people are interested in. Well, as you know me, I like to do things differently. I'll listen to the content, but a lot of things I don't address because I don't feel the need to, because everybody is talking about the same things on YouTube. And so sometimes it gets a little boring, um, because, I mean, a potato is a potato is a potato is a potato. And, you know, I guess people are just on here giving their own little individual takes on the things that are happening in today's society. So, anyway, with that being said, I came across this. He's new for me, but he sounds like a dating coach, or let me see what his name, what his channel. Oh, Dr. Zeb Tally the third. It's life design strategies and coach. Now, I have been watching his videos. I don't know how he just all of a sudden came across my YouTube page, but some of the things he says and the things that he reveals are very interesting, and I agree with a lot of what he says. But in this particular video, I wanted to that I saw, I wanted to address something that I know a lot of people aren't addressing when it comes to relationships. So he pretty much comes on here. He does counseling with couples, and he came on here and he was, telling the story of a couple that he was counseling, and I've noticed this a lot in relationships, new relationships, existing relationships, and this is just something I kind of really wanted to address, to my audience and to whomever else wants to listen. Chime in the comment section when it's done. Anyhow, I'm going to play his video. I'm going to fair use. This is for educational purposes only. I don't monetize my videos, although I can, but I like to just kind of do my own thing and, use other people's content when it's a good topic, and it kind of leads me into what I want to say and also what I have been thinking. So we're just gonna start off by taking a listen. We're gonna hear the beginning of his story, right? Or his content, just to see what he is saying. Okay, where is Oh my God, they got this new thing. What is this right here? Okay, share screen. Okay, so, ooh, what is that? Hold up, wait a minute. Hold up. I gotta make some edits. I don't know what men. Okay, save changes. Want to apologize? It wasn't correct. Okay, so anyhow, let me make sure that that changed right, because I can't be out here looking crazy in these streets. Okay, perfect. All right, so let's share the screen, and we'll start off by just listening to some of his content. So the title is "Why You Don't Date Someone with Kids," right? So I was listening to this, and the story was pretty interesting until it got to a certain point to where I was like, er? you know. But anyway, let's go.
It's my hope that what I share with them is a help to you. The way it was to them. She is 36, he's 33. They have been dating for 16 months. She has a 10-year-old daughter. He has
Okay,
an
wait.
I'd
How?
like to take a moment to share with you what I thought was an interesting conversation with a set of new clients. It's my hope that what I share with them is a help to you. The way it was to them. She is 36, he's 33. They have been experienced.
Okay.
The way
She's 36 and he's 33. Okay, so I'm just gonna start off by saying both of them probably still have a level of immaturity. They probably both still need to grow. She's 36, she has a 10-year-old, right? Which means she was pretty young when she had her daughter. So she's a single mother, right? Um, this means she was 26 when she had her daughter. Young, inexperienced, probably still inexperienced, and he's 33 and he has a daughter. Um, I don't think he said. Well, I'll rewind it, but I don't think he said how old the guy's daughter is. But he's 33 and he has a child. I'm assuming she is maybe older than the age of 5. Who knows? So he was in his 20s when he had his first daughter. Okay, so now we have a couple. They both have a daughter. They're both still young. They're both still figuring it out. Okay, but anyway, let's continue.
it was to them. She is 36, he's 33. They have been dating for 16 months. She has a 10-year-old daughter. He has an 8-year-old daughter.
Okay, so he has an 8-year-old daughter. Okay.
Both of them from previous relationships, and neither one of them have been married. He started the conversation and said, Doc, I came to you because I am pretty much done with this relationship with her because of her behavior. I said, what's going on and why did it take you 16 months to figure this out? He said, well, it's more to it than that. She's really a horrible mother. And I should have saw it coming. I said, and it took you 16 months to figure out that she was a horrible mother? He said, no, Doc, no.
Okay, first of all, she's a horrible mother. This is her first child. She's a single mother. So she's figuring it out by herself. And she's a teacher and she works a full-time job. And she's left to her own devices and she's left to take care of her 10-year-old daughter all by herself. I'm going to tell y'all, being a single parent can be rewarding and it can be difficult depending on how you approach it, right? A lot of women, and I'm going to say a lot of women, when they have babies, they're having the babies to keep the man, or they're having the babies because they don't want to abort them, which is fabulous, or they've had the baby because hey, it's a part of them, and they don't give a hoot who's going to be there and who's not going to be there. They're going to be there 100%, irrespective of what's going on, and she going to do the damn thing, right? She going to make the best of it, and she going to make sure she raises her children to the T, right? Do everything she can as a single mother and not dwell on the fact that she's a single mother. You got to move on in life. You can't, and being able to move on depends on why you had the baby. If you had the baby to keep the man and he left, man, you're going to be dragging ass probably until the child turns 18. You're going to be dragging ass because you need some counseling and some assistance to get over the fact that having this baby that you really didn't want, that you only had to keep this man, you're going to need some counseling to get over that and to move on, because it's like being stuck with, you know, something lifelong that you don't want. It's like being stuck with a scar on your body that you don't want and you can't get rid of. And every time you look at this scar, it reminds you of the mistake you made, the bad decision you made. Um, so yeah, let's continue.
It's more to it. When we started dating, we made an agreement not to meet each other's children until after a year of being together. And I thought that was very healthy. I said, okay, now that makes sense. I get that. At least a year. He said, yeah, we, dated a couple of months. We made it official right around month 2 or 3 and decided, we would wait until a year in order, to just be with each other, make sure that it was pretty solid. And then we would introduce each other to the kids. And she eagerly said yes. I said, you saw that as a problem? He said, not at the time, but I did think, it was just kind of odd. A lot of times he said in his experience, women want to meet children pretty fast, especially if they really like the guy, because it's official to them. He said that's been his past experience, and he has allowed other women to meet.
Well, I don't know. I don't know, because a lot of times, the majority of the time, these men are not even involved with their children. They've left someone as a single mother, and you rarely see them with their kids, and you rarely hear them talk about their kids. So, and you rarely get to meet their kids because of the type of baby mama they have. She's disgruntled because she was left as a single mother. So I don't know about all this, meeting the kids, meeting his kids. Usually the man comes into your life with your kids, and you're basically, he's meeting your kids, and you might meet his kids. But that's when they do the baby mama creep. They go over there and mess with the baby mama, keep her life miserable, while they come over here and try to, bring some joy to your life, when they're pretty much, you bringing joy to the wrong household. You're supposed to take that joy to where your children are. But anyway, that's another story for another day. But let's continue.
His daughter before, he said, but it all ended in a train wreck. And he learned this time, wait at least a year. So he tried to do it different. I said, ma'am, is this true? She said, so far he's telling the truth. I said, so
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the guy meets your kids on the first day. It doesn't matter if the guy meets your children 3 months down the line. It doesn't matter if he meets your children 6 months down the line, 9 months down the line, a year down the line, 15 months down the line. It does not matter. If the relationship is not going to last, it's not going to last. So it kind of really, it kind of makes sense to me to not meet each other's children at all whatsoever. I don't know, until he puts an engagement ring on it and say, I definitely want to be with you. We're going to get married and I'm not going anywhere. Because it kind of seems as if all of these relationships are ending up in train wrecks. So why does it matter when the guy meets your children? Obviously, they waited a year and it made no difference. So now he's met your daughter, you've met his daughter, and the relationship doesn't work out. What freaking difference does it make when he meets your kids? Duh. That's why back in the day, when mama brought a man home, he was uncle. This is Uncle Johnny. So, in the kids' minds, oh, this is Uncle Johnny. It's not mom's boyfriend. It's not mom's lover. It's not mom's sneaky link. This is Uncle Johnny. So when Uncle Johnny is no longer in the picture, it doesn't have too much of an effect on the child because, oh, that's just my uncle, and my uncle just ain't coming around no more. Ma, what happened to my uncle? Well, he had to go, and I don't know, he went, I don't know, overseas. He moved out the state. Who knows? But it creates less turmoil in the mind of the child when you say, this is Uncle Johnny, this is your Uncle Johnny. So it really doesn't matter when this man meets your children. If the relationship is not going to last, and if it doesn't last and he's already met your kids, what freaking difference does it make on waiting a year, 2 months, 10 days, or whatever? I think the better thing to do would be, um, you got to put everything on the table in the beginning of the relationship. That means finances, kids, um, assets, resources, everything, to see if we're going to take this thing to, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, level 6, all the way up until marriage. Everything has to be out on the table in the beginning. You can't date someone for an entire year and don't know how much they make, and then say, okay, let's get married, and then you find out that this guy makes minimum wage and he can't take care of you. He can barely foot half of the bills. What kind of sense does that make? It doesn't make any sense. So you have to put everything out on the table in the beginning, early stages of the relationship. Not day one, but 3 months in, when you say, hey, we're going to lock it down, we're going to be exclusive. 6 months in, I don't know, whenever you say you're going to be exclusive, you should, everything has to come on the table. But anyway, that's just me, because at any point in time, when you decide, okay, this is a person, yes, I'm going to be with after 3 months, yes, I'm going to be with them, you pretty much have an idea of who it is you're going to be with and what they, what you guys are going to be sharing. So, I mean, it kind of silly to me from the beginning, the start of this.
What else, or what's going on? I said, well, he noticed some red flags that he should not have ignored or should have paid greater attention to. And he's mentioned specifically three. He said, number one, she's always dressed to the gods. He said, literally, every time they would get together, she was Gucci, Prada down to the socks.
Okay, so what's a red flag in that? We're just gonna take what he's saying on an individual basis. She takes fairly good care of herself. She likes nice clothes that don't fall apart after one wash. She likes the name brand. She likes to look nice. Why is that a red flag? It's a red flag that you can't afford to keep her in these expensive garbs and different things of that nature. Is that the red flag? Even though she's doing it for herself, it's a red flag that she's doing it for herself. No, the red flag is that you can't afford to do that for her. So it's not a red flag. What you need to say in the beginning of the relationship, I don't know, after 3 months of seeing her in her nice garbs, and you might want to sit down and have a conversation with her and say, hey, listen, honey, you dress beautifully, you dress expensive, but I want to let you know that I am not a name brand type of a person. So I mean, if you can deal with it, I'm not going to be the one that's going to be providing you with Gucci and Prada and Louis Vuitton. I just don't, that is not something that I indulge in for myself, nor will I indulge in that for you. Is that going to be a problem? I don't mind if you continue to, you know, dress yourself to the T, to the gods like that. Is that okay? I don't mind if you do it, but that's something that's not where I'm going to put my money while we're in this relationship. And if she says, "Oh, okay, no worries," I mean, And then the other red flag could be to him, um, concerning her dress, is that he might start feeling a little bit insecure because even if he wanted to, he can't even afford to put her in Gucci, Prada, and Louis Vuitton, right? But anyway, that's just me. Let's continue.
His exact words. I started laughing. She just sat there and looked. He said, and I'm cool with that. If that's how you get down, he said, I'm a plain dresser. I don't do a lot. He said, but doc, she's a school teacher in the country. She's not making Gucci money. I said, have you guys discussed her salary? He said, not directly, not specifically. She interrupted and said, no, I haven't told him how much I made, but I don't make a lot, but I like nice things. I said, well, there's nothing wrong with liking nice things, I guess. I said, sir, do you have a problem that she likes?
Sometimes we see, we have to understand how some women come across a lot of these things. So you know how when Steve Harvey, when he said you have to have these colors of suits, you have to have these colors of shirts, you have to have these colors of ties, and you have to have these colors of shoes, and you can mix and match them. Well, one of the ways women come across or accumulate their name brand items is that they buy them one at a time. So you may buy a Louis Vuitton purse and, I don't know, a pair of Gucci shoes one year. The next year, you might buy some Prada, you might buy something else, but women pretty much aren't, if they're, of course, if they're not rich, if they're a school teacher, they're not going on a shopping spree and spending, $50,000 on name brand items at one time. It's an accumulation, and then they mix and match, like Steve Harvey said, to do those suits. So while he's sitting in judgment of her, and working out her finances for her, which he hasn't even asked her a question about, and he doesn't even know how much she makes, and then he hasn't even asked her how she accumulated these nice things. I mean, it's kind of asinine to comment on something that you didn't even get from the horse's mouth as far as how she got them. So that's a red flag, dude. You're a year into the relationship and you don't know how she accumulated all of these name brand items and how she's able to dress the way she dresses. That's a red flag, sir. What have you been focusing on, sir, for this entire year, sir? But anyway, you know what? That's just me. That this is alpha female talk. This is not, anything else. So let's go.
Likes nice things? He said, no, I don't. He said, but it's more to it. He said, that brings me to the second thing. He said, not only is she always Gucci and Prada down to the socks, she never talks about her daughter. I said, never? He said, doc, maybe 2 conversations in the first year, she even mentioned her daughter.
Sir, did you ask about her daughter? I mean, were you interested in her daughter? See, like I said in the beginning, this is a 33-year-old man and a 36-year-old woman. They are still at a level of immaturity, right? What have you asked her about her daughter? Are you even really interested in her daughter. Because if you were really interested in her daughter, you would ask questions. I can't just see her over dinner just bringing up her daughter and this, that, and the third. No, how's your daughter doing? Oh, she's doing fine. Well, how is she doing in school? Is she smart? Oh my God, my baby girl, she's so smart and she's just so talented. Well, do you have her in any type of recreational activities? Oh, well, yeah, she's in music and she is in ballet. Oh, okay, wonderful. Okay, the next time, how's your daughter doing? Oh, well, you know what? She just got over a little cold and I had to, call off a couple of days to take care of her, but she recovered well and, she's back to herself. Oh, wonderful. Oh, okay. The next day. Well, what does your daughter like to do? Oh, well, she likes to go to the movies. She likes to go to the park. I take her to the park on Saturdays. And she really enjoys that. Her favorite food is McDonald's. She loves McDonald's even though it's garbage. She has to have her french fries. Oh, wonderful. The next date. Oh, well, what type of animated characters does your daughter like? Oh, she loves what, nigga, what have you been asking? Are you interested in her daughter? You kind of get what I'm saying. You get where I'm going. Like these men, they sit here and they say, "Oh, I haven't heard that. I haven't seen this. Have you asked? What have you been focused on for this whole entire year?" I can tell you, the booty. Okay, it's a 33-year-old immature man who claims the best thing is to not meet each other's kids for a year, but you're going to meet this little girl and you're not going to know anything about this little girl after a year. You haven't asked any questions, right? Yeah. Okay, let's go.
And he said, in hindsight, I should have saw that as weird because I don't have full custody of my daughter. I see my daughter, he said, once every 10 days, every other rather 10 days. She has full custody of her daughter, full custody. And every now and then her daughter will go with her parents.
Okay, so I saw this. I didn't see the entire thing, but I've seen it all the way up and past this point. Okay, sir. What does your girlfriend know about your daughter? Right? How many times have you talked about your daughter with this woman? He didn't mention that. He's looking at everything about this woman, but he has not even evaluated himself and what he's doing. So this is one-sided. It's one-sided. The woman, she didn't come on here and she didn't or he didn't express any red flags that the woman had about him. That's concerning to me. And that is another one of the reasons why I wanted to review this content, because everything is one-sided. He's sitting back and he's acting like the frugal, perfect daddy who has shared custody with his daughter every other freaking 10 days. So that means, 2 weeks out the month, you're free to do whatever the heck it is 3 weeks out the month. Basically, you're able to do whatever you want to do. And you only have 10 days with your daughter to play daddy. And this woman has her daughter, the daughter lives with her. So, I mean, how it's not equal. It's not equal. Get full custody of your daughter, have to take care of her, find childcare, to go to work and to go out dating, and then come back and say how bad of a parent this woman is. Okay.
If she has to go out of town or if she's traveling or if she's just hanging out or whatever, she can just drop her child off and it's just fine. And he said, I think it's great that she has that support system because I don't really have that support system. Plus, I don't have my daughter regularly.
But I have my daughter. He says, I don't have that support system. Sir, you don't need that support system. You have your daughter 10 days out of every month. I don't get it. What kind of support do you need in 10 days? For 10 days? It sounds like a little jealousy to me. It sounds like a little jealousy. We got to be careful because a lot of times these men will be they're low key jealous. He got an issue with her name brand dressing. He got an issue with her being able to drop her daughter off anytime she wants to go out and have some freedom. You got a problem with that, sir. That's concerning.
Every other 10 days. And when I get my daughter, it's quality time for me. And so, I can't always.
He's talking about it's quality time. That woman has her daughter all the time. What you mean quality time? This is funny. Okay.
Go out. I can't always do things, especially during those 10 days. Now, when I don't,
I can't always do things, especially in those. What do you mean? You're free, sir. If you say, oh, I can't come get her for these next 10 days. I really got to buckle down on doing X, Y, and Z. I'll come see her. Maybe I'll pick her up for a couple of days and then drop. You have the option to do that. This woman has sole custody of her daughter, and she's taking care of her all the time. Sir. Okay.
don't have her, maybe it's a little bit different. But even still, then I'm busy working and I'm preparing things while she's away.
So meaning you get a whole lot of free time to prepare for your daughter to come to your house when this woman has to do all these things while her daughter is present. So you have that alone time to prepare and think about what you want to do with your daughter when she comes. You have time to go to the grocery store and buy her favorite foods and think of dinner ideas. You have time to maybe go shopping. Maybe you want to buy her a cute little dress or a pair of shoes, or a toy or something. You have free time to do that. You have free thinking time. And you're trying to compare that to having sole custody of a child? Get the fuck out of here. You see the level of immaturity of these men who wants 10 cookies because he has his daughter ever so often. He wants a fucking cookie because he has his daughter 10 days out of every month. Like, dude, really? There's no comparison. And then let's look at the fact that your daughter has her mother and her father, whereas this woman's daughter only has the mother and she has her grandparents. But where's the little girl's father? You don't even take into consideration of that. You're not even emotionally intelligent to that. Do you even know why her and her baby daddy are not together anymore? Do you even know how that affected her? Do you even know how the child came about? Was it planned? Was it an accident? You don't know anything because you're too busy looking at red flags and being judgmental of this woman. See, he was judgmental of her from the start when he saw how well she dressed, how expensive she dressed. He sat in judgment of her because he called it a red flag. It's not a red flag for a woman to keep herself nice. Okay?
So that when she does come back to my house from being in her mom's house, then she has everything that she needs here for us to, cover that week and a half that we have together. He said, and I just found that very odd. He said, and that leads me to number 3. So I'm just sitting here listening. And he said, Doc, she is literally always available. Every time I've ever wanted to hang out with her, she's always available.
Okay, sir. Every time you wanted to hang out with her, she was always available. Sir, you were available too. You were available too, sir. You're always available as well. So it's a red flag that she's always available for you, that she's always there when you have a need, She's always there when you want to do something. That's a red flag that a woman is making herself available to a man that she's in a relationship with. Get the fuck out of here. I'm dead. I'm sick. I need to go to the hospital. I can't. I can't. Okay. Okay. Here we go.
She never cannot go anywhere, not hang out. He said, I met her at an after party after a concert. And literally every time I've ever wanted to see her, she was either available or within hours, she could make herself available.
Okay, so within hours, which means, Mom, my boyfriend wants to take me out to dinner. Can you keep Trisha while I go? I'll just have her spend the night at your house so that I don't have to come in late to pick her up. Yes, darling, bring my grandbaby over. I would love to see her. Now, let me say this. See, this 33-year-old man, he is of, I don't know what generation he's in, but my generation, the grandparents helped you with the kids, right? I don't know. He's not saying anything about his baby mama. So what is your baby mama doing with your daughter when she wants to go out with her boyfriend? Where's your daughter at when your baby mama wants to go out with her man and have a good time and be available for her man? What's going on over there, sir? You too busy over here worrying about what this chick is doing with her daughter. Where the fuck is your daughter at while your baby mama is going to Pound Town with her dude? Sir? Hello? So back to the grandparent thing. They love their grandkids. They wanted to help, especially when they see that you're the single mother. You have sole custody of the kids. The father is not involved. Your mom and your dad, they hands down they were helping, hands down. Because in my generation, you didn't have the grandparents still at the club shaking their booties, getting BBLs, wearing wigs and eyelashes. No, they were at home. They were retired. They were tired of running the streets. So they were basically homebodies. And it is the grandparents' duty to help raise their grandkids. And then thinking about the fact that the girl had the daughter when she was 26, she hasn't been able to live life, right? Not saying that just because you have a child, you can't live life. A lot of times, if you get married and you have children young, you and your husband continue to live life. You still drop the kids off at the grandparents' house, whether it be his mom and dad or whether it be her mom and dad. We're still dropping the kids off because we still about to hit the streets, and we're still going to have fun, and we're still going to live life. We will be doing ourselves a disservice by not continuing to get out there and experience the world so that we can now teach back to our children all the traps and snares and good things and bad things that's out in the world. Who has a child and then isolates themselves from the world so that they can't teach their children about the world? Who does that? Just like I said, immature, very immature. But okay.
And he said, Doc, I'm not being judgmental. He said, I'm sure a lot of people may not agree with this. He said, but I just, as a parent that has their child just 10 days, I don't see how people who have their children all the time are able to just get easy free time. It does.
Yeah, hey, wait a minute. Now, I don't really like to always throw myself in the equation, but let me throw my experience in the equation. I say on here several times I was a young mom, and I was younger than this woman when I had my first child. And of course, it's still in you that you want to get out and live life. especially when you turn 21 and you can now, you're not restricted. You can do whatever it is you want to do. Um, but the fact still remains that you don't have a child and then seclude yourself. You don't have a child and then keep them away from family. No, you share the child. So pretty much for me, I was able to go and do what I wanted to do. That made me a happier mother. That made my firstborn happy. He didn't isolate. He didn't grow up antisocial. He didn't grow up not being able to communicate with other people. He did not, he didn't. What is this supposed to be? Her and her daughter, and they're supposed to be crouched off at home? No, no. I had a lot of freedom when I had my first child. I was young, I had a lot of freedom. My sisters enjoyed his presence. My mom enjoyed his presence. My friends even enjoyed his presence. Um, I needed childcare, right? I wanted to go out and have a good time. He had cousins that wanted to be around him, and yeah. So hey, yeah, can y'all watch him? I want to go do. Yeah, bring him over, sure, right? Because everybody can help. What does this man think? What did he think this woman is supposed to not do? What is he? Okay, well, sir, then since y'all want single mothers to be at home in seclusion with their kids, who the fuck are you gonna date? Oh, I guess your baby mama, right? So because the majority of black women are single mothers, married or whatever have you, in whatever kind of relationship they're in. But the single mothers that are not in relationships, are we supposed to seclude ourselves? Then you have no access to us. Then who are you gonna date, sir? You gonna be forced to go back to that baby mama that you hate. So I don't get it. It's a red flag because the woman is available. I'm dead. Okay.
Doesn't make sense to me. I said, ma'am, is this all true? She said, it's true. I have really good support from my parents. I've always had really good support from my parents, and they've allowed me to kind of come and go if I need to go places and do different things. And so that's never been an issue. I said, well, sir, you say she's always available and she never talks to her daughter or talks about her daughter, and she's always dressed up. I said, have you ever been to her place? Where do you guys hang out? Your place or her place? He said, Doc, it's always at my place. He said,
right, it's always at your place because your daughter is not there. So you have that freedom to have company and not have them around your daughter. So therefore, she's coming to your house. So you have a certain amount of freedom when it comes to your daughter, but you don't want this woman to have any freedom when it comes to her daughter. How unfair is that? I call bullshit. So it's always at your house. Why you never go to her house? Obviously, she can take her daughter and drop her daughter off at her mom's, and y'all can have a nice evening at her house. Why are you guys always at her house? Because it's one-sided. The relationship is one-sided.
For the first 12 months, we probably met at her place about 5 times. I said, did you observe anything? Did you see the daughter there? He said, no, the daughter wasn't there. He said, and in hindsight, I noticed as I was preparing for this call and thinking about some things that transpired the last 2 to 3 months, he said, the 5 or 6 times that we met over there, her house was spotless. I said, is that a bad thing? He said, no, Doc, it's nothing wrong with your house being spotless. He said, Doc, but just imagine walking into, say, like an Airbnb where there's nothing on the counter, there's nothing on the sink, there's nothing in the cabinets. He said it almost was like no.
How do you know there's nothing in the cabinet? You went through this woman cabinets? I don't know how true this story is. Dr. Zeb, I don't know how true this story is. Because you mean to tell me this man done been all in and out this woman's cabinets? Yeah, that's a red flag for me, sir. I don't know about this story, but let's continue.
nobody lived there. And he said at the time, I thought, wow, she's really clean. But I just thought it was odd for some reason. And it made sense later. I said, before you tell me why, I said, ma'am, is this true? She said, it's true. You know, when he came over, it was spotless. And I later told him I hired a cleaner, a cleaning service to come over and do some deep cleaning of my place. So those times that he came happened to be right around that time. And so my place was looking spotless.
Okay, so she did some deep cleaning, which means she took everything out the cabinets. Since we all in the cabinets, she took everything out the cabinets so the cabinets could be clean. So everything, yeah, I can see how things would be displaced if you're having your home deep cleaned. What's wrong with that? But okay.
The man said, Doc, that's the problem. He said, literally almost a year to the date after they had been dating, I said to her, it's time for us to meet, the kids, right? To get the kids together and us all meet. Is that correct? And she said, sure, no problem. He said, so he happened to actually be in the neighborhood. He said maybe a day or two after a year to the nose. He said, because Doc, something was telling me it wasn't something right. He said, I never thought it was another man. I didn't think it was anything like that. He said, but it was just odd. Something didn't feel right. And so I happened to be in the neighborhood and I had my daughter. And so I called her and I said to her, I'm in the neighborhood with my daughter. I'm going to stop by. I want you to meet her real quick. If your daughter's there, I would love to meet her. I said, what was her response? He said,
now, first of all, that was very inappropriate. That was very, very inappropriate. And this is why, ladies, we have to be careful when we're letting an immature man lead, right? He don't know what the fuck he doing. That's not how you meet. That's not how you meet and greet with children. You claim to want to wait a year for you to meet and for them to meet each other. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to either take them out to dinner or take them out for a play date, to where you guys can all sit and have a discussion and get to know each other. Or you say, hey, listen, I'm going to have my daughter the next 10 days. It's been a year. Let's have them meet as we discussed. So where do we want to do this? Right? Do we want to do this at your place, or do we want to do this at my place, or do we want to take them out somewhere? Right? You don't let a motherfucker just pop up on you and you're not prepared. I mean, if it means that much to you, don't do it. But if you don't give a hoot, okay, then do it. But for me, I thought it was very, very inappropriate, and I would never let a man just come to my house just to meet my kids and not plan it out. Like, you hold up, pump your brakes. Let's figure out how we're going to do this so that, we aren't just, jumping into the damn frying pan full of hot grease. But okay.
So, well, she sounded like she was shocked, as if she was caught off guard. I said, ma'am, is this true? She said, yes, sir, it is, because I was. We had just walked in the house and she was working on some homework, talking about her daughter. And, I would have appreciated if he'd given me the heads up.
Right.
But I popped up at his house before without, letting him know, especially when his daughter wasn't there. So I couldn't really fuss about it.
No. See, that there's a difference there. I popped up at his house when his daughter wasn't. That's a difference. You don't get to see him. You don't get to pop up on him in his natural habitat when his daughter is there. Yeah, this is completely one-sided, and I don't want to tell the ending, but yeah, this is completely one-sided. This guy is very inappropriate, very sneaky, very tactless, and he has no class.
About that, I said, sir, is that true? He said, yes, sir, it is. He said, so I didn't think it would be a big deal. I didn't just roll up. I told her I was in the neighborhood like 2 or 3 minutes away.
Yeah, you did just roll up 2 or 3 minutes away. What the fuck, are you down the street? You weren't 2 or 3 minutes away. You planned that. You planned to pop up on this woman under the guise that I want our daughters to meet, even though you hadn't planned anything. Oh, this guy. He's terrible. I didn't just pop up on her. Yes, you did. 2 to 3 minutes away. That's a pop up, sir. You should have rolled your ass back home and then called her and said, "Hey, I'm with my daughter. Do you need time to? I want to come by and have the kids meet. Do you need time to do anything?" It's called consideration. It's called being considerate for someone else, their time, and what they're doing and what they have been doing, and allowing them to prepare, allowing them to take some time to think about how they want to do this. Well, do I want to let this man over my house? It's not tidy. Or do I want to really let this man over to meet my daughter? At least let me prepare my daughter. Let me at least sit her down and say, "Hey, I've been dating X, Y, and Z for a year now, and we decided that you didn't even allow her to have a freaking discussion with her daughter about you coming over to meet her. What if the daughter said, "I don't want to meet him"? You didn't even allow the daughter any time to prepare herself or to say yes or no, "I'm ready to meet him." "No, I'm not ready to meet him." And then you didn't allow her to do anything. You just popped up on her like the disgusting individual you are.
And said we wanted to swing by. He said, "So Doc, I went by her place, and when I got there," he said, "Doc, she opened the door and the house was a mess." I said, "What do you mean, like a mess, just dirty?" He said, "Doc, I've never seen more filth in a house in all of my life." He said, cups, plates, paper, clothes, everywhere. The walls were even looking dirty. And
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I don't believe it. I don't believe the walls. Now I can see clothes and cups and plates and paper and different things of that nature. I can see that all over the place. She's a working single mother. Sometimes you have to choose sleep over cleaning. Sometimes you have to choose work over cleaning. Sometimes you have to, choose making dinner or washing dishes. I mean, there's a lot of sacrifices and a lot of decisions that a single mother has to make, especially when she works, right? So I don't believe the walls, because there's no way. I mean, there's no way that the walls are so filthy. Like, what the fuck is going on in there? Are they throwing food all over the walls? I mean, what could be all over the walls? Now, I can honestly say, for me, when my grandson comes over, oh my God. Oh, Jesus Christ. He got food, he's eating, and he's wiping and the little boy, he's a little fucker. He's doing the shit on purpose. He will literally have some stuff on his hands and he will wipe it on the wall. He runs down the hallway and spills and food goes everywhere. He does all of this and it's at his level, hand level, where he can reach. Not all up to the ceiling, but just to where he can reach. So when and I don't wipe shit until he leaves. Listen, I'm gonna let him do him, and then when he leaves, when I get the energy, I'm gonna wipe these walls down. But I have to be honest. Yeah, the wall, they go a few days, maybe a week without being clean. But it's like, hey, shit, I'm tired. I'm a single mother. I work too. But I can't see this woman with a 10-year-old daughter who probably does nothing but sit in her room, make a little mess in the living room, bring her little papers, coloring books, I don't know, her homework, copy paper she's balling up and throwing all over the place, eating, drinking, leaving place, the mom that made dinner. Yeah, I can see all that. But the walls, I can't see a 10-year-old or a 36-year-old woman just fucking up the walls for no good reason. I don't believe that. I do not believe that. Not at all.
And it floored me. I said, "What did you say?" He said, "I looked at her and said, what's going on? Did somebody break in?" I started chuckling. And I said, "Ma'am, is this true?" She said, "Yes, sir, it is. He's telling the truth." And he interrupted and said, "I just really could not believe that her house was as filthy as it was."
I mean, I can't, for some reason, I can't see this woman just saying, yes, he's telling the truth without her giving an explanation. What was this woman's explanation for her home being that way? Like I gave you an example. You're a single mom, you're working, you got a 10-year-old daughter, you guys, a lot of times I'm putting on clothes, I'm like, nah, that ain't right. I'm taking it up, I'm throwing it on the floor. It's pretty much just gonna stay there until I clean it up. I don't know. But a single mom with one child, a 10-year-old, I don't know. The only thing I can just really picture is a kitchen full of dishes. I mean, that I can picture that. I can picture the daughter's jacket, maybe two or three jackets on the floor that she maybe wore for the week. I can imagine some socks and shoes all over the living room floor. You know, I can imagine mom's shoes, her high heels, or whatever she wears to work. I can imagine her suit jacket strewn over the couch. I can imagine her stockings on the floor because when you get home from work, all you want to do is take this shit off. And it's the first place you could, like I'll tell you right now, I got two uniform shirts downstairs on the couch. It is so fucking hot out here. When I get home, I'm stripping. I'm downstairs. First place I hit is the living room and the kitchen. The living room, I'm taking off uniform shirts, and then I'm hitting the kitchen to make coffee. And then I'm headed once the coffee is done, and I done put my cream and sugar in it, and got my cup of ice and my bottle of water. I'm headed up the stairs. So I can see an accumulation of coming home, taking clothes off, and just the first place you stop, and that's where they land, and that's where they're going to stay until they get cleaned up. I can imagine that. But them motherfucking walls, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Not at all.
Us. He said her daughter came around the corner. She introduced her daughter. I said, how did the daughter appear? He said her daughter is a very pretty girl, but her daughter even had dirty looking clothes.
Okay, she had dirty looking clothes, or were the clothes dirty, or was the little girl in her play clothes because they weren't going anywhere? Or were the clothes dirty looking to you because all you can imagine is the mom wearing Gucci and Prada down to the socks, and you looking at this little girl and you're comparing her clothes to the mother's clothes in your head, and the mother's clothes are more expensive than the child's clothes. I mean, what kind of dirty are we thinking about? Are we talking about dingy, like some shit she just put on just to hang around the house? Like, or are we talking dirty to where she done had them on for a few days? Or are we talking dirty to where there's food all over? What kind of dirty are we talking about? It's a lot of questions here.
I said, ma'am, is this true? I said, sir, what do you mean by dirty looking clothes? He said, Doc, I'm not being judgmental. I told her this. He said, all the Gucci and the Prada that I see her in, I just expected her daughter to look a little bit better.
Okay, so that's a lot. Just like I said, the girl's clothes probably weren't dirty. They just weren't expensive as the mother's clothes. So in his mind, they're dirty looking clothes. They're not fashion pieces. The daughter is not making a fashion statement while she's at home in her environment. See?
And he said, I'm not being offensive. I'm not calling her ugly. I wasn't calling her ugly. In fact, we get along to this day. We hit it off great. I'm great with kids. But her daughter did not look like the Gucci and the Prada that my girlfriend wears. I said, ma'am, is this true? She said, I mean, I guess so. If he wants to paint it that way, I just don't believe you buy Gucci and Prada for children. I said, well, I can understand that. I don't think if children have Gucci and Prada jobs, then they don't need to wear Gucci and Prada shoes. I understand that. I said, but ma'am, do your children look clean? Do you present your children as clean? She said, Doc, I can't believe you're asking me that. I said, ma'am, I can't.
Right. Okay. So he's expecting her to, okay, so this goes back to a conversation. How did you come across so much Gucci and Prada? Do you dress your daughter in Gucci and Prada? See, a simple question about what kind of clothes she buys for her daughter and dresses her daughter in would have not even freaking when he saw the daughter, it would not even have crossed his mind that he would not even had it. He would not even have the expectations of the daughter being in Gucci and Prada, because he would have already established with a question that no, the mother does not buy her daughter Gucci and Prada. So therefore, when he first met the daughter, he would not have expected her to be in Gucci and Prada. So you guys kind of see where I'm going here. This man has been dating this woman for a freaking year, and he knows absolutely nothing about this woman or her daughter. The only thing he knows is that she wears Gucci and Prada. That shows you the true interest of this man. That shows you how little he was actually interested in this woman. After a year, I mean, you should pretty much know everything. You should pretty much, I mean, ma'am, how, what's your cleaning days? You know, um, if home cleanliness is important to you, then you should be asking, what days do you clean? Do you let your house get a mess before you clean? There's just not enough conversation there about having a longer term relationship. There's just not. And then the fact that you've only been to her house 5 times out of a year shows what little interest you really have in this woman's lifestyle. Because see, here's the thing. Even though he was judging her for wearing the Gucci and the Prada, he reveled in the fact that he could take a woman out and show her off that wears Gucci and Prada. See, her Gucci and Prada made him look good. It made him look as if he was in a certain status. It made him look, because from the outside looking in, we don't know who the fuck bought all that shit. It made it with them together and her wearing her Gucci and Prada or whatever name brand she had on. It appeared to the outside world that he was providing those things for her. Right? It made him look good to other people, because nobody's walking up to her and say, "Oh my God, girl, who bought you that Gucci purse? Who bought you? Who bought you?" Nobody's asking that. So he's benefiting off of her look and judging her at the same time. Oh, this man is pitiful.
I can't believe he's describing your house this way. So, do you take care of your children? Are your children clean and presentable? He stopped.
No, her daughter probably was clean and presentable, but clean and presentable to him was Gucci and Prada. He expected the daughter to be in some kind of, and who the fuck dresses up? Who dresses their kids up in Gucci and Prada to hang around the damn house? That's why I'm like, this story, this right here, it just does not sound right. Who does that? Who does that? Who allows their children to put on their best clothes to lay around the house? Kids can't even wear their school shoes outside with some parents. Kids can't even wear nice clothes outside to play with their parents, with some parents. So, sir, what are you talking about?
Looked at her and just kind of folded his arms as if he knew the answer. She didn't say anything. He said, Doc, I will interject since she's not answering. He said, for the next 2 to 3 months, which led us up to this call, we literally have been going back and forth. He said, because Doc, I can't get it out of my mind. I can't get out of my mind that I met this lady and her child looks the way she does. But this woman is always dressed to the gods. She always looks good when she comes out of the house when I'm around her, but it just feels like she's not.
Okay, so let's look at it from this perspective. Let's look at it from this perspective. Since you decided that you didn't want to meet the daughter and you didn't want the daughters to meet each other for an entire year, it means that you have never seen how this woman dresses her daughter when she's taking her out to dinner with you, when she's taking her daughter out, I don't know, to the movies with you, when she's taking her daughter, I don't know, out to the mall. You don't know how this woman dresses her child when they go out in public. You don't know this, sir, because you haven't taken the daughter anywhere with you guys ever. So how are you sitting in judgment of how this woman takes care of her daughter when this is your first time meeting the daughter and the mother has never had an opportunity to dress the daughter up to go out with you guys? I will call it an event and not a date, to an event or an outing, we'll call it. You don't know. So you're sitting in judgment of this woman and you don't even have all the facts. All you have right now is your opinion. Damn.
Not taking care of her children. And that's a big problem for me. I said, all right. I said, all right. I said, ma'am, sir, I have a friend that's a realtor, and she and I a couple of months ago were laughing about her first sale that she made. She's doing really well now. But the first sale that she made about a year or so ago, and she talked about how she was referred to this gentleman who wanted her to sell his house. You know, he had heard that she had just got or received her license, and he wanted to give her a chance to try to sell it. And so he sent all of these pictures. And so my friend was telling me, yeah, Doc, he sent these pictures, and I looked at the outside of the house and I was like, oh my God, this is going to be easy to sell. I mean, the house was beautiful. And she said, because Doc, I was so green, I was just, already making plans, how much I'm going to sell it for, what my commission is going to be, all of this stuff. So she sets up a time to go by and take a look at the house and meet the guy. And she said, when she walked in the house, there was trash everywhere. There was dog feces. There was stuff all over the walls. The floors were cracked. The curtains were torn. The carpet had all kinds of stains in it. She said she could not believe that this was the same house. The lady's just looking at me on the call, my client. The man is looking at me. He folds his arm and says, Doc, I know exactly where you're going. I said, I need y'all to understand this, that the outside of that house was spotless, but the inside of that house was a mess. And here's my simple rule of thumb. There's a lot of narrative that supports this idea, or rather that purports this idea, that people with kids should not be dated. I think it's baloney. That if you take care of your kids, you have a right to be happy and to meet a suitable mate just like anybody else. I said, but there is one exception. I said, ma'am, a legit reason not to date a person with kids is if you date a person who does not take care of their kids.
So I'm going to end it right here. And then I'm just going to finish my commentary. Because here's my issue with this guy, right? He didn't do the work, right? He had the assignment, which is the woman and the relationship. That's the assignment. But he didn't do the work. This thing of not meeting the kids for a year, like I said, it's bullshit, because it doesn't matter when a man meets the kids. If the fucking relationship is not going to work, it's not going to work. A lot of times you know, the relationship is not gonna, if it's not gonna last, we're not gonna be into a whole freaking year of the damn relationship if it's not gonna last. Um, if they're exclusively dating, then what what part of it's not gonna last after a year are we coming into? But the fact of the matter is that he did not do his homework. This year of waiting for the kids to meet each other, this is where they got stumped up. Because and then with her going over to his house consistently, and then him only being at her house 5 times out of the year, when he says she has so much freedom, at any time she could have dropped her kids off with her mom, and he could have came to her house, like I said before. But the fact of the matter is that had they not had this stupid 1 year rule, he probably could have popped up over her house more often. So the 5 times you went to her house, it was clean, probably because she had advance notice that you were coming, or maybe you met at her house but you didn't actually go in. Maybe you picked her up and she came out to the car and you never went into the house. But anyway, like I said, he didn't do his homework. He didn't. And then the fact too, when he went to her house and he saw her house the way it was, she said, I called the cleaning service and they did a deep cleaning, right? That should have told him right then and there, or he should have asked some questions. Oh, how often do you have your home deep cleaned? Oh, well, I pretty much have it deep cleaned like every 3 months or every 6 months. Well, why do you have to have your house so deep cleaned? I mean, you don't do maintenance on your house or whatever. Oh, well, I mean, sometimes it's how, oh my God, I just be so busy, so engulfed. And then, of course, I spend a lot of time with you that, I don't really get to do a whole lot of cleaning consistently. So my house, it pretty much gets a mess. And he could have said, oh, okay, um, do some homework, fool, right? What really kind of triggered me was that there's a lot of single mothers, including myself. I'm just going to put myself in there. A lot of single mothers, including myself, that sometimes our homes just get, oh my God, it gets horrific. You know why? Number one, as we purchase things, clothes, furniture, whatever, the home gets cluttered, right? Sometimes it's either time to throw shit away or it's time to get a bigger place, right? So you can do some more hoarding. But a lot of times, yes, a lot of us single mothers, sometimes we don't clean as often as we should, right? And then when the place is small, yes, it's going to be cluttered. I mean, yes, I mean, it's just difficult. Just the same way as a man comes home and throws his fucking shoes in the middle of the living room floor and throws his funky socks, on the side of the couch. If he did that every day and nobody picked up behind him, he'd have a fucking filthy house too. That they do. But the fact of the matter is that as single mothers, we need help. We could use a helping hand every now and again. So, like I was saying, what triggered me is that I've seen multiple videos on YouTube where the man is saying how filthy and how nasty this woman is, but yet and still, you continue to sleep with her, you continue to live with her, right? So, this leads me to, are men hiding the fact that they themselves hit the wall after a certain age? With that being said, your youngsters, your 20-year olds, your 20, I would say your 20 to 30-year olds, they got so much damn energy. They'll come in, they'll help you clean your house. They got so much energy. So are we to say after 30 men get lazy? Are we to say that after 30 men their bones get weary, they arthritis start kicking in, they high, they drunk, they don't feel like doing shit for nobody but themselves? So, and then a lot of times you pop up on some of these men and their shit is fucked up as well. And they ain't got no damn kids up in there. They got fucking dishes in the sink. They got fucking clothes all over the goddamn place, shit all over the counter, all over the fucking table, cups and shit. And y'all the same fucking way, but y'all want to always make it look like the woman is just some nasty, filthy tramp when y'all some nasty, filthy tramps as well. But look at the man and his energy level. Look at his willingness to help the woman clean. Look at his willingness to move that refrigerator and move those couches and look at what are these men 30 and up doing? Looking cute, doing the bare minimum. They've hit the wall, ladies. Anytime you got a man that you're dating or you're in a relationship with, or you're married to, and he's not helping you clean, that nigga hit the wall. He's tired, he's old, and he's lazy. Right? So just like they say women hit the wall with their beauty and their ability to bear children, these men hit the wall with their physical ability. All they can do is fuck. They got enough energy and enough strength to fuck. But when it comes to actually helping you do something that's beneficial to your life, they done hit the wall, they lazy. My issue with this story is that, number one, you popped up over this woman's house. If it was as filthy as you said it was, after the daughters had met, I would have expected him to say, damn, this woman is emotionally and mentally dealing with a lot. There's a lot to unpack here that I didn't know because I didn't do my homework. I never asked this woman, does she need my help doing anything? I have not been consistent with asking this woman, does she need help doing anything? But now that I see the situation for what it really is after a year, because I didn't do my homework, because I didn't really get to know this woman, because I wasn't really interested in what she was going through mentally, being a single mother and having to, take her daughter to her mother's house, get free time. I really didn't get, I missed this because I didn't do my homework. However, because I feel the way I feel about this woman, because I like her swag, I like her Gucci and her Prada. I like the way she talks to me. I like the way that she's always available for me. I like the way that she followed my lead and we didn't let the kids meet until after a year. What I'm gonna do for this woman, since she has been there for me for this entire year, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna help this woman maintain her home. I'm gonna come in at least once a week. I'm gonna see what she need me to do. I'm gonna wipe down these filthy ass walls. I'm gonna vacuum this fucking floor. I'm going to investigate why it's shit all over the fucking place. Right? I'm going to maybe encourage her, even though she doesn't feel she should buy her daughter a little Gucci and Prada. I'm going to encourage her to just buy her daughter a few little expensive items just to make the situation sort of even between her and the daughter. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to encourage her to come down off the Gucci and Prada high. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna lead as a man should. I'm gonna help this woman. This woman needs some help. Where's her baby daddy? What's if this man has not done his homework about this woman at all whatsoever? You know why? Because he spent the last year fucking her only. He wasn't interested in her mental, in her emotional state. He wasn't even interested in her. He wasn't really interested in her daughter. He's too busy sitting back judging her according to his life when he's a 10-day out of the month father. And he pretty much has, I don't know, if we added up the time, the freedom that he had away from his daughter, it's good and plenty. He ain't got to worry about no child care. He don't have to worry about every day, because at his house, what, he got one fucking cup he using, he got one plate, one fork, one knife, one spoon, one pot, one pan. It's just him. But yet and still, it's just his shoes, it's just his socks, it's just his shirts, his pants, it's just his asshole on the toilet. It's just him the majority of the time. But yet and still, he has the audacity to sit here and judge this woman when she is a full-time freaking mom, and she has been given good and plenty time to this nigga. Get the fuck out of here. Some serious bullshit. But anyway, like I said, and I'm gonna end this live. If a man is supposedly your man, because we gonna have to separate it. Because every man that you're dating shouldn't be up in your house, going through your fucking underwear drawer and washing your drawers. No, that's not what I'm saying. If you're in a relationship with a man and he is not asking anything about you, he's not asking anything about your kids, he's not interested. Right? He's only there to get his needs met. He really don't give a shit about what you're going through mentally, emotionally, physically, financially. He ain't interested in none of that. He's only interested in fulfilling his fantasies and having somebody to be by his side so he don't have to be alone. Because a lot of these men, they don't like being alone. But if this man is not coming to your home knowing that you're a single mother with a child or with kids, knowing how tough it is, because I know he has a tough time them 10 days. He can't get no pussy, or he can't go to the club, or he can't go to the gym. I know he have a hell of a tough time. So what he does is he prepares himself to hibernate for 10 days. That's what it sounds like for me. And then after them 10 days are over, he's back to the streets. So if this man that you're supposed to be in a relationship with or starting a relationship with, if he ain't asking about you, if he ain't asking about your kids, if he ain't asking about what you need, if he ain't asking what he can help you with, if he ain't coming to your house and lightening some loads for you, you got a man that has hit the wall and he is not really interested in you. He's only interested in one thing, and that's getting his own needs fulfilled. So think about that. Start looking at your relationships with these men. What are they actually doing for you? Sometimes paying the bills aren't enough, especially if you can pay the bills by yourself. Let's get in here and let's get some elbow grease going. Let's do some wax on, wax off. Let's wash these motherfucking cars. Let's get these walls together. Let's vacuum these floors. Let's mop. Let's do these dishes consistently. Let's tighten these doorknobs. Let's sweep the front of this house, the back of the house. Let's get some shit going. If you got a whole nigga and you got a dirty house, honey, you no, no, ma'am, no, sir, no, ma'am. If you got a whole dude and a consistently dirty house, so you doing something wrong, man. You got a man that has hit the wall, and he has hit the wall something awful. He don't give a damn what you're going through. So it's probably time to end that relationship. It's probably time to move on. If you can't ask him to help you and he's not offering to help you, that means he doesn't really want to be a part of your life. He's only there for a good time. He could be there for a long time, but he could be there for a long good time. So just because a man is there for a long time, don't mean he's supposed to be there. Because if he's not helping you in your life and the things that you need and putting in that physical labor aside from fucking, you basically got yourself a man that has hit the wall and he is really not interested in anything about you. And with that being said, I'm out of here.